All right, good morning, you guys. Happy Thursday. So today we're just going to go over a couple of things. It's Thursday, so it's pretty much the end of your week. Tomorrow is your fantastic Friday. And I'll talk a little bit about what my expectations are for tomorrow later. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go over what an email sample looks like and then talk a little bit about multiplying and dividing fractions. So we're actually going to have a Zoom lesson this morning, but this is really for the people who couldn't get onto Zoom so that you can still see kind of how do you do this. We've gone over it a little bit before in class, but I know it's been a while, and so I just want to make sure you guys get a refresher. So the first thing is looking over here at our email sample. Now, I love that so many of you have been emailing me and reaching out with your questions, but something that's even difficult for a lot of adults to do is how do you write an email? Because it's very different from a text message. You have multiple different parts to it. There's different things. A lot of it's kind of old school, and since you guys grew up on text messaging, no one really tells you how to write an email for a really long time, but it's just a really good practice to have. So I kind of drew out a whole email sample text box for you guys. So the first thing you're going to see is that you have the to, which is the receiver who you're sending the message to. Then you have the subject line, and then where you have the message would go. So the to line, I have sort of my email. I couldn't fit it all, / this is a public video and I don't need random people emailing me. So you write who you're writing it to. Now there's two things you may notice in the subject or in the to receiver line for a lot of emails is you'll see a CC button and a BCC button. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little bit more old school. CC stands for carbon copy, and that's just to send it to an additional person. And then instead of just writing multiple people, back in the day, you had to write CC. You had to click on it in order to add multiple people. Now you can just type in the next email after you're done with the original one. BCC is used mostly now. A lot of people use it. It stands for blind carbon copy. And so that means that the people are seeing that you're sending it to them, but they can't see who else you sent it to. So for example, our intermediate newsletters or the videos I'm sending out to you guys through email during the week, one of you can see, oh, it was sent to me, but you can't see everyone else's emails on it. And it just helps with a lot of privacy for a lot of those things, or a lot of companies use it when they have thousands of people who work in them and they're trying to send that out, because you don't need a long listed of people who are receiving the email. Only the person that's getting it really needs to know that it's coming to them. So that's what it's really used for. Then the next line is your subject line. And a lot of you want to type in your whole thing during the subject line, the way a text message works. The subject line, though, is meant for a brief description of what the email is going to be about. The reason being is that when, as adults, we get a bunch of emails, we can look at the subject and quickly see what is the most important thing to deal with right now. So for a lot of you, you could put in the subject line question about MobyMax, or just question, or MobyMax, or social studies, or something like that. But usually question is kind of how you guys would be emailing me. If it was something that you had a problem with another student or something, you just be like, oh, problem. All those different things. It just gives me an idea of what I'm about to open. And then in the message is where you get to write basically a letter, and say hi, Miss Albertoni, how much time should I do on spelling for MobyMax? Thanks, and sign your name. It's really important to sign your name, for sure, because a lot of you have emails that aren't tied to your actual name, and I don't know who is who yet. I know who Laurel is now because she told me, but there's a couple of you that I still don't know, and so it really helps me to know who it's coming from, especially when we are at school. You guys are sharing things with me through our intermediate Chromebooks and stuff. Those are coming from emails that it's just ACII intermediate 17, and I don't I mean, it could have been any of the 65 of you. So it really helps to put your name in things, just like it does on your papers, that I know whose it is. So what I really want you to do, I think this is a great time for you guys to practice over the next couple of weeks. When you're sending me an email, just try to practice this, and it really will help you eventually in life get a job, surprisingly. But when you're sending emails out with your resume, or when you're following up on an interview, it looks really good to be able to write a proper email, and it looks good, and it's easy to follow, and it really impresses people. Again, a lot of adults also struggle with this, so it's just a really good skill for you guys to have. All right, so moving on to our multiplying and dividing fractions. I've made up this poster here so that you can get a good visual. I'm also going to record the Zoom lesson that we do, and I'm going to email a link out to that, but this just helps so that, you guys can access it later, or by just coming onto YouTube, or you don't have to search through your email to figure out where that Zoom link is. And I think it helps just to see it all in one place. So the first thing is multiplying fractions up here. This is very weird. This is very hard to do. I literally don't know how YouTubers do this at all. This is so difficult. So I have a sample problem here, and then there's really only 3 steps for multiplying fractions. The first one is you're going to multiply across the top for the numerators. Remember, the numerators are those numbers on the top of a fraction. So you just multiply across. 1 times 2 is 2. The second step is just multiply the denominators, the numbers on the bottom. 4 times 6. And then after that, you just have to simplify. So multiplying fractions are probably the easiest thing. The nicest part, honestly, is that multiplying and dividing fractions are way more straightforward than adding and subtracting. You don't have to find common denominators. You don't have to do all these extra steps. It's pretty straightforward, which is a really helpful thing. Then at the bottom here, we have dividing fractions. So we have 2/3 divided by 1/2. So the first thing you're going to do is you have to look at it just across. So 2/3 divided by 1/2. So that very first fraction, the 2/3, you're going to just keep it the same. So you're going to write it below where your original problem is. Then the second part is you're actually going to change division into multiplication. So now you have your 2/3 here. Then you're going to take that division symbol, and then you're going to make it multiplication. I swear, this is so difficult. My job right now, pointing at this, because it's backwards for me. It looks normal to you. It's backwards on my screen. It's a mess right now. Okay. So you're going to go 2/3, keep it the same, change division to multiplication, and then you're actually going to flip that second fraction upside down. Okay? So instead of 1/2, you're going to flip it and put 2 on top and 1 on bottom. So you're going to have 2/1. Then you just multiply across. Now, a lot of the time, you're going to end up with a fraction that's an improper fraction, so you have to simplify by putting it into a mixed number. Okay, so just a quick brief review. That means you do 3 goes into 4 one whole time. Okay, 3 times 1 is 3. And you just need 1 more to get to 4. So that's going to go on your numerator, and then you keep the denominator of 3 the same. So that's really what your other job looks like today. Again, here this is. I'm going to kind of get out of the way so that you can get a good look at it. You can pause this at this point. I would assume my face is going to make a funny face in that situation, but that way you have the directions right there for yourself. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, don't forget to email me. You can also, a lot of you have signed up for Google Classroom. On Monday, I'm going to give you a little bit more of an in-depth understanding of Google Classroom, so that you guys can really get on there. Again, it's a really great place for you guys to just see everything in one place. You're still going to get emailed everything. I already made the packets at school yesterday, so they'll be available tomorrow. You'll have the availability to go get that. it's not going to be just on Google Classroom. You still have another way to get it. But Google Classroom just shows you where everything is, and then it's a really easy way for you to just upload files to it and turn things in. And so it's still kind of a learning curve a little bit also for me. There's a lot of really great parts to it that I'm just trying to learn. So just keep that in mind. But I hope you guys have a great day and work hard. Oh, and then Fantastic Friday tomorrow. I almost forgot. So tomorrow's usually Fantastic Friday. My expectation is that you guys treat it like a Fantastic Friday. Do some art, do PE, go outside, run around, play a game, maybe get some music in. Show your parents how to do some personal safety moves. Really treat it like that for a little bit, and also get about an hour of reading in. But I really want you guys to try to stay true. You know, I know Mrs. Olson had started teaching you guys a lot for your showcase, and if we get back in time to be able to do the showcase, you want to be ready for that. So practice those songs, those dance moves. She's also available via email, and she's really good about it if you have questions. Any of the Friday teachers are. So just keep that in mind and work hard on that stuff. It's just as important as the stuff you're doing for me. So enjoy that. Enjoy your Friday. And I will be sending out an email with next week's work tomorrow, around the time that people are available to pick it up and everything, pick up packets and stuff. But everything's ready to go. So I will see you guys soon. All right. Have a great day.